Over the last few months, we get a lot of comments from people saying, it seems like your RV is always in the shop. You guys are having so many problems. You got a lemon, this and that. And I have to tell you that you're actually wrong.
Have we had issues? Absolutely. Have we been in the shop? Yes, a lot of that is maintenance.
So in this video today, we're going to talk about all the issues we've had on our Dutch Star and exactly what we've done and how we fix them.
So if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe, notification bells on. That way you get notified when we release these types of videos. Let's preface this by saying we have a now 11-year-old motorhome. Okay, so it's a 2015 Newmar Dutch Star 4369. For many of you that have been following our journey, you've seen that whole journey when we went from our base Star to our Dutch Star. We'll link that Dutch Star purchase up above. We did pay what we believe was a pretty good price for this to the current market. I think we got a very good value for it, but it is a 10-year-old motorhome. And there was issues that were going to be expected, wear and tear items. We're going to start talking about those issues. Let's get the two biggest ones out of the way. One, not very expensive. The other one, pretty expensive, but both catastrophic, meaning they'll leave you on the side of the road. So the one was our DEF dosing valve. That happened, I don't know, weeks after we bought our motorhome.
Yeah, it was a week or two later.
Now, people have said, well, the inspector should have picked that up. No, because we've done other videos. It was just fine. Neighbor at home is a diesel mechanic like that would not have been picked up. It was a relatively easy fix, a couple $100, and we were back on the road. The next one was a big one. Again, not picked up by any inspectors, would not have been on a recall list because the recall was already expired. Really no way to know this unless you were doing deep research into this. And even that, it wasn't that easy to find. So it's going to be SCR right here, or the Selective Catalyst Reduction System. That's a big one. That is a known issue through Cummins. We did a full video on that, how Cummins had one of the biggest SCR recalls ever, excess of 500,000 units, and they did it for 2 years, and that's it. After that, you're on your own. But these are well known to be problems. If you have a motorhome which falls within these years, we do encourage you, I say 2010, 2015, we do encourage you to watch that video. We'll link it up above. This was about $11,000 repair, and since we repaired this, we had no other issues with it. Next two items had to do with our leveling system, both very minor, both really due to age. First one's a very common one. It's going to be these two solenoids here, the master and the secondary. Very easy fixes. We did a video on them. Each part's about $30. You can swap that out in 5 minutes. The second part of our leveling problems was the actual touchpad went bad. And again, that's a common issue. I call HWH. They sent out a new one. That's like a 2-minute replacement. And we have had no issues since then.
And then there's actually a third one.
There's a third one we're going to talk about.
Recently.
All right, the next issue we have with our levelers is that these things have to be cleaned pretty regularly. You see the cylinder on there. If they don't get clean, then sometimes they could get stuck in the down position. Now there is a way to manually override those, although if it's stuck because of dirt, it becomes difficult. The easiest way to clean these, and maybe I'm not doing it the right way, but what has worked for us, we spray some WD-40 on there and wipe it down. Don't leave it wet, just get any grime off of there. And then those levelers, they spring right up. And
cleaning the levelers, it's not really an issue. I mean, it caused an issue, but it's more of a maintenance factor. So it's, again, for you, those of you out there that have levelers, just that's something good to keep in mind.
And even if they look clean, which ours, they never look grimy or anything, just wipe them out anyway, because it's gonna help. You might have noticed on those front levelers, we did have our snap pad, and actually the person right next to us has snap pads, which is pretty impressive. They are a permanent jack pad. Now you can see this site looks dry right now. It looked like a lake yesterday and the day before.
Which we will address in a campground review. If it's out, we'll link it above.
Yeah, so snap pads are a permanent jack pad, and they go on the jack feet. And for instances when you're on soft surfaces, they also help with spreading out the weight.
They also help with helping your jack feet not to get bent or damaged. Many campgrounds and resorts do require something on the bottom of those jack feet. These just make it that much easier.
Don't damage like pavers or anything
so
like that.
This is a great permanent, easy way to make that happen.
They're made out of 100% recycled material in the USA. On our last motorhome on our base Star, that was the very first upgrade we did, and we had them for the whole life of that base Star. That's before we even had a YouTube channel.
Right, that was early on.
They also have the stack pads, which we use in addition to the snap pads. So if you're in a site that's really unlevel, sometimes you have to kind of build it up. And what's nice about those, they're adjustable and they're rated for 40,000 pounds.
If you want to make a purchase of snap heads for yourself or stack pads or anything, you can go to rvsnappad.com and use the code endless10. You can save 10% off your purchase. Also, a lot of you will reach out to us with questions. I don't know if these will fit me. You know, again, we had the same issues ourselves when we got the new motorhome. Reach out to them. They'll help you figure out if the snap heads and which ones will work for your specific RV.
Right. They're not only for motorhomes, they're for travel trailers, fifth wheels, even truck campers. They have all different types. So if you want more information, the link will be down below. This one was a big issue. It caused a big issue for a very small issue, like a 5-second fix. And we did a full video on that. We'll link it up above. It was a fuse that got blown out. Again, don't know why it happened. Think there was maybe a surge somewhere. Don't know why it happened. But it was the fuse on the J10 of the KIB system right over here in this area, right below the driver's side. When that fuse goes out, a lot of problems happen. You start hearing alarms inside, doors,
the steps
don't work, like all kind of weird things start happening. The hardest thing about that is just diagnosing what the problem was and where that fuse was, but that is a very simple fix. Again, we're just nitpicking. We're showing you like little things that are not a big deal because we want to tell you all the problems we've had. Next one, again, very minor problem, but we're going to document it, was this molding right here. I don't know what happened. We had, prior to us having the slide adjustments at Newmar, when this would go in, it was cracking this. So it would push this molding, and they modified and fixed it, and then we had it painted over with our friends over in Country Classic. Purely cosmetic, not a mechanical issue, but we wanted to include it. On the topics of molding, same thing with this molding over here that connects the rear cap here, or covers the connection. Very common for the screws to back out, and it will show some cosmetic issues. We had this addressed also, removed it, put new screws, countersunk it, and put it back on. We knew about this when we bought the motorhome. It's a very common thing. It's very easy to fix. Jump back to the chassis. We had a couple of more issues. We needed to replace 2 rear airbags. Again, that is expected, a 10-year-old, almost 11-year-old motorhome at that point when we got it. Now, we did upgrade our suspension. That was optional. That was on us. They didn't have to be done, but we wanted to improve the ride, so we did do that. If you wanted more information about that Coney upgrade, we'll link that video up above. We also had a Freon leak on one of the AC lines. Age, again, that was also fixed, and that was affecting the dash air. It's very cold now. Now, both the airbag and that AC leak were covered under our extended warranty, which we've been using wholesale warranty for years now. Those were both covered. Talk about the last one. Again, not a catastrophic one, more cosmetic. We knew about this. I'll say this, if this is not happening to you, it's going to happen to you. These frameless windows, especially the non-Tiffin ones, they tend to fog up. So there was quite a few windows that we replaced. You can have them fixed or you can have them replaced. The issue with having them fixed is that they often fail again versus having them replaced with a non-double pane window, a thicker laminated window, which is what we chose to do. They won't fog again. So this window right here was replaced. And then we'll kind of come over here and show you the other ones that were replaced. So we also had this window replaced, and you see they say Wise RV glass, top window, and this window right here. These were all replaced. Never will fog again by Wise RV Glass in Georgia. Really good company. If you want more information about him, you could Google Wise, but we did a video about it. We'll link it up above.
Now, when we purchased Stella a year ago, a little over a year ago, we were fully expecting to have to fix things. It was a 10-year-old motorhome. It was not in perfect shape for a used motorhome. It's never going to be in perfect shape. So we weren't surprised when these things came about. I think the biggest problem for us was the SCR, because it isn't something that we expected or could have even known about. And that was the most expensive issue.
Yeah, and that's something that should not go wrong. Hence why Cummins recalled 500,000 of them. But regarding the other times we've been in the shop, and we've been in the shop a lot, those are all optional things, right? So we take it to the body shop. I try, even with the Baystar, we would do this once a year, twice a year. Take it to the body shop. If there's a little nick or dent or something, have it taken care of. Have them do a leak test, which you do every year.
We also just made an appointment to go to Freightliner and Gaffney in the summer. Just nothing's wrong, but just again to keep,
somebody will say you're back again.
No, but to keep her in good shape. Now that we're kind of got those big problems figured out, we want to keep it going well.
Yeah, if you own a motorhome and you're not willing to spend money to keep it on the road, it's not the thing for you. It's just not. It is expensive to keep on the road. It takes a lot of oil. It takes a lot of fuel. It takes a lot of maintenance. That is what goes along with it. So we just want to kind of explain that.
Right, but it takes all that, but it also, again, we want to reiterate, it provides a lot of joy, a lot of memories, a lot of happiness. So people say, why do you RV? We get people come in the comments, why do you do this? I'm, cruising here and,
It's fun.
Airbnb there. And that's great. We do that too. But there is something about RVing that keeps people coming back. And for us, it's been well worth it.
Like, for example, right now we are in Tennessee. We're looking for our home. We're living in an RV. We're closing prior on our home we're closing prior to even purchasing our new home. So we don't know where we're going to be, but we know we have our motorhome, right? At worst case scenario, we have our motorhome, and it's great. And it's a home in the winter also, without having purchased something somewhere else. So we want your feedback down below. Does this seem like a realistic amount of issues to have for a 10, now 11-year-old motorhome? Or did we get a lemon? We want your feedback. We wanted to clearly state what the issues were, because sometimes things get lost in the shuffle, right?
And also, I think when people watch our channel, we tend to, I think more than other channels, document every single thing that happens, even if it's little. So sometimes they can come across like, oh my gosh, there's so much wrong. But in the grand scheme of things, it's really not bad at all.
And you all, because we're in Tennessee, you all love to watch when things go wrong. You don't want to watch when nothing goes wrong. You want to watch when things go wrong.
No, they do. They enjoy our time. But I think you do have this sick fetish for when things go wrong.
So we want your feedback down below. Let us know if you like videos like this to the left of us. So put our RV travel vlogs playlist. Go watch those. Those are fun. We'll also put our RV tours playlist. We thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the road.